Hey, martinis are working just fine for warming me up.
That does a trick too. Goddamn right.
All right, ready?
I thought we were already going. What are we ready for?
All right.
Show us, Bobby.
All right, it's time for our, is it semi-annual welcome to everyone? We've done this probably 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah.
Been a few.
Something like
Been a
that.
few.
What'd you
It's
say?
always a
Adam?
blast.
But yeah, we combined forces yet again for a Christmas holiday special themed. Is it We Three Kings? Is that what we went with?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
That's a good title.
Okay, well, my name is Snobby Bobby. I got Crude Rude Dude with me on his work telemarketing headset, which is that tax write-offable for the podcast?
Multi-use, multi-function, folks.
And then why don't we go around the old mulberry bush here and introduce the Welcome to Horror guys.
Evening. I'm here. I am Lee from Welcome to Horror. Hey.
I'm Chris from Welcome to Horror.
And I am Adam from Welcome to Horror.
he's our resident Vincent Price.
And Roger Corman.
And
Yeah,
Roger
he
Corman.
hasn't done as many different voices lately. They've been a bit
He
more
doesn't do
stable.
that. He doesn't do that shit for us. He pulls out all the
Yeah.
stops for you guys.
He does
And the
it for
funny
us.
thing-
You have to ask.
Well, he doesn't tell us either. So I'm listening to one of your episodes, and I'm like, hang on a minute.
I don't even tell. I don't even tell Adam or Austin whenever we add those. I just keep it. It's me and Adam's. Adam, not Crude Dude, other Adam's special little secrets.
That's how Bobby checks to see if I'm even listening to the episodes, is if I know these things that he sneaks in that I wouldn't have, that I had no prior knowledge to.
Isn't that a really
I'm
good
glad-
impression that I did, Adam?
I'm like, I know
I'd like
this
to be
wasn't
like
you,
a sort of
Bobby.
trap street
did
for
it?
you as well. Like, so,
Say that again.
just see if you can catch people out.
Yeah. All right, so tonight I guess we're gonna just talk about. There's no real rules here. The theme is our personal top 3 Stephen King adaptations, like film or sketch, I guess, or anthology adaptation stories. Crude Rude Dude, are you still with me? I can't tell.
I'm here.
Okay. I'm just waiting.
CRD is here.
For those of you at home that are just listening, the camera is on the floor, and I see this ominous silhouette, blurry silhouette.
It's on the counter. It's on my kitchen counter.
I'm just
and
waiting
that
for you to
makes me
spit on your
delicious
phone.
cup.
It does a pretty good job of focusing on you every so often.
Yeah, we need to get some
right.
with
It
3D
kinda gives you
glasses.
It kind of gives you the
Yeah.
same look as that view from out of like the trunk of a car.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for.
Yeah,
When
I was
see
going to
this
say
thing,
going
it's,
for a
not
promotion.
good news.
it's POV Goodfellas right here.
Uh-huh. This is how the ladies look at me. Yeah. So I'm here. And the thing about the Stephen King, like, look, I went through lists online. I'm like, let me actually look up all the goddamn adaptations. And if we're just talking movies, that's like a list as long as your arm. And then if you start talking about TV movies, not even counting the movies themselves, there's your other arm. You know what I mean? There's just so much media of Stephen King shit. And it's not all good, but some of it is really, really, really great.
I like to jerk myself off with both arms when it comes to Stephen King.
And you really can.
You really can.
Absolutely have that with Stephen King.
And I think he does too, to be honest,
Awesome.
unless a more talented filmmaker adapts one of his films, and then it's like just, he's flaccid.
So am I correct in assuming that the only movie he directed was Maximum Overdrive? I mean,
Yep.
did it do so bad that, I mean, it's a great movie. My kid he's enwrapped in it right now. He is in this thing. Thumbs up. He gave me a thumbs up right now. So he's over there watching this movie. It's badass. I saw it when I was like 7 years old. It's great. How
Isn't
is
it
this
like
not-
insane?
It's insane. It's insane.
No, I've only seen it once. I did want to watch it for this, but I didn't manage to.
You should
Well, my-
definitely
my-
have seen it more. It's one of Lady Jennifer's all-time favourite terrible
See,
movies.
that's it. I seem to remember it was her and Sharon showed it to me. It was like, you've got to watch this. But I did not know it was Stephen King. I did not know that
Does
until I
anyone
saw
have
this list.
Maximum
that Bobby posted
Overdrive
this.
as their number 3? Interesting. So let's start with
It was
that
a
as an
close run
honorable
thing,
mention,
but
I guess.
Oh,
Honorable mention. Honorable mention.
That's called a
It's in
segue.
King's
Yes.
top 3. My
Perfect.
son's top 3. He's definitely screaming that this is an amazing movie.
Now, is
So
your child named after Stephen King?
I tell him he's named after Stephen King. I also tell him he's named after Burger King and the King of Siam and
Burger King.
He didn't believe any of it. So yeah, he is. He doesn't believe some of them, but he is definitely named after Stephen King. 100%. That's it.
So real quick, before we jump into our picks for this very special Welcome to Everyone episode, let's just go around. Does everyone here, I mean, are you guys really just, what's your kind of relationship with Stephen King as far as his, is everyone read a handful of his books, or are we all just kind of exposed to the movies? How does that work?
I have to
Okay.
admit, I have never read a Stephen King book. I've seen quite a lot of his adaptations. I watched some new stuff. Well, not some new. I watched some stuff I hadn't seen for a very long time for this episode, but in a slightly different way because I knew we were all going to go for the same ones. I went to the other end of the list, and I went
got
with
quite a
the
few of
worst
those as well, too.
received of his adaptations that I could get my hands on.
which
Yeah.
I've come to
I'm
realize
worried
that
that
it's
all
possible
of us
some of
went
those are
in
the
it with that
best.
mentality, and like nobody's gonna
Well-
mention the fucking
well-
Dead Zone. You know, like
Yeah.
Here's
No,
this is
I
wanted to
I do.
put
I'm
this
gonna
out
mention some
there.
of the top
My list is not going to be the seminal classic adaptations of Stephen King. I went very autobiographical as to what is not necessarily a great film, but something that really means something to me. So that's the angle I'm
sometimes
taking.
they come back. You love that shit.
Yeah, I love the Sleepwalkers.
yeah. It means a lot to us.
That's why I'm a furry today. So
So that
One-
that has
one
been one
thing
of
I
the
would-
big surprises for me. Sleepwalkers. I
We're just
cannot
knocking
believe
out
that
all
was
the
not
shit
mentioned
first and
prior to
foremost.
this.
the great Mick Garris, Sleepwalker, the one where the cat boy fucks his cat mom, and all right.
That's the one. That's the
Well,
one.
I
yeah.
Every time
did
I
not
hear
see that
that,
coming.
what is it, Johnny and Santos song? What I forgot is the guitar, the song
Yeah.
Sleepwalk. Every time I hear that now, I just think of cat fucking, and I love that. It's a classic, instrumental guitar piece. But now it's just like, no, cats having sex, humanoid cats, incestuous humanoid cat sex.
Well, it's like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
what is it?
Sounds the
Q
way.
Lazarus.
Yeah.
Goodbye Horses. No matter
Was
what
that
is,
a song?
that's
Was that like a
man with his
popular
junk
song
between his
before
legs.
Sounds of the Lambs?
It was a song before. I don't know if it was a popular song.
Okay.
But it was out.
I only know it from
I
that, but-
worry that like Johnny and Santo are rolling in their grave because now when everybody hears the fucking badass sleepwalking guitar, they think about cat fucking.
No, not
You
everybody.
know?
Just me and you, and maybe some other
Oh,
people on
okay.
this call. Not
Anybody
everybody.
who listens
We haven't
to this
tainted the good
moving
name
forward.
of that track. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone who's seen that movie, that's the thing. It's done the Tarantino trick of like just imprinting that
That's what Mick Garris
thoroughly
does.
on that song. That's
Not
what that
many
is
people
now.
He
have seen that
destroys
fucking
great
movie.
songs.
Yeah.
That movie is fucking terrible. Hey, I love Mick
Yeah.
Garris. I don't love that movie though.
Uh,
Come on, Mick. What were you thinking? All right. Have we talked about any movies that are on anybody's list yet?
no, we got to get the
Okay.
intro banter out of the way here.
Okay.
Okay, so
But it-
real quick, I just
Think
want to
so?
say I am not a avid reader of Stephen King. I've done a lot of his short stories, Skeleton Crew, I read when I was a kid, The Long Walk, which I highly recommend, The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, which is a book about a girl being lost in the woods. It's about 200-300 pages, and it's just like, how does he write entertaining literature just about being lost in the woods? And it's fucking incredible. And then I started listening to the audiobook of It when It phenomenon came back a few years ago with the movies. It's like, I should probably just knock out this book. I've only really seen the Tim Curry version. And it's just like, did it have to be like 1,600 pages? I don't think it did. I don't think it needed to be that long. So I got about maybe 2/3 of the way done. I'm like, I think,
They gotta fit the child orgy in there somewhere, you know?
well, that is important. That is an important.
Does nobody know? Does nobody know that that's a huge
do not
plot
remember
point
that
in the
bit.
fucking book of it?
I think everybody knows
Yeah.
that now because
Oh,
they're
they know it
listening to
now.
us.
Did the timer go off? Did I set a timer?
So I thought, like, so I read some of his books, but I was probably 12. And now I'm wondering, did we just skip most of the books? Because it was like me and a few other friends and just read some of the scenes. Because there's a lot I don't remember from
It?
them. And that being one of them. From It, definitely that. And I'm sure I read The Stand and maybe Dark Half.
Wow.
And Pet
I thought you were the guy that would like
Sematary.
is like new to horror, but you're the one rattling off like. Okay.
No, right. So we got hold of the books. We were able to read the books, but we couldn't watch the films until later. So we were all reading the books, going like, "These are amazing." And then, a few years later, so Pet Sematary was one that I did see.
The dark
both
halves
of it. Yeah. So
sorry.
Yeah. So I did, as far as I know, I did read
Crude,
some of them,
dude,
but it was a very long time
You're
ago.
a bigger reader than you give yourself credit for.
Yeah. I read a lot of Stephen King back in the day. Mainly the kind of shit you're saying, like all the short stories and stuff. That's my jam. When you can make a complete story in 20 pages and it keeps my attention, right? But I did read, The Child Orgy and Stand.
Just that part.
Yeah, just you go to what your interests are, right? No, I read some of them back in the day, and they were decent. I don't read so much anymore. I mean, if they were gonna make it in they put pictures in it. If they're gonna make a movie of it, I mean, I'll watch it.
The one that stands out to me, I wish there was at least some sort of creep show kind of thing, vignette about it. But there's one called "Here There Be Tiggers" in I think the Skeleton Crew, about a boy that wants to go to the bathroom really bad in his elementary school, but there's a actual literal tiger inside the bathroom.
Oh,
it's very weird.
Wow,
and scary.
Interesting. Well, I'll say this. I watched a movie today that was a Stephen King adaptation, The Dark Half, which I will say this, boys, this makes my list. This 100% makes my list of the top Stephen King movies, The Dark Half. And at the beginning, the main character, who's an author, is writing a story as a child called There Be Tigers or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Here There Be Tigers. Interesting. Little.
So that was probably the story that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Adam, what is your background with Stephen King?
I've read Salem's Lot, which was quite the fucking brick of a book to get through. I was probably 11, maybe same
it's all starting to make sense now.
I was like 11 or 12 or whatever. So I'd read Salem's Lot, and I've read a couple of short stories, but that's about it. The weird thing is I read recently his short story Lawnmower Man, because someone said, "Oh yeah, the film's nothing to do with nothing like it." If people haven't read it, it's fucking mad.
Eats grass.
It's absolute fucking madness. Basically, a guy comes round your house, and he's possibly Pan. And he's a landscape gardener, and all he does is he just runs around in the nude.
Why was that not part of the movie?
The grass.
That is the story of the lawn. The title actually makes sense now.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the story of like the character of Job in the movie and stuff, but it's not the book at all.
No, apparently not.
Does it even have Stephen King's name in that one?
Yeah,
like at the beginning. I mean, if they're based on.
So apparently he tried to sue New Line because he was so not close to the book.
Steve. Did he sue Kubrick?
No.
We'll talk about that later.
That was a paycheck. I mean, if there's any kind of license, like if they're going to adapt a Stephen King story in even the most remote, stretch of a way, they're going to put his name on there to get people in the seats. I think
cash flow.
Okay. Well, what was the one you just mentioned there? Crude, Rude Dude, The Dark Half?
Yeah, I'll start.
You want to start with that one?
I'm going to start with The Dark Half. I was trying to think of like what are the best King movies. And I got to think of like who's made King movies, because there are certain guys that have made a few of them, most notably Darabont and George Romero. So I was like, I was trying to find Needful Things to watch, but I couldn't find it online. But The Dark Half was online. I was like, oh shit, I should watch that. The Dark Half, directed by George A. Romero, 1993, I think. And I did see this shit in the theater when it came out. So to kind of give y'all just the recap of what it is, as a writer, and he's going Richard Bachman style, right? He has a pseudonym that he writes more graphical content. So he makes a whole to-do to kill off his other writer, right? But when he was a kid, he had a brain tumor, but the brain tumor was actually like an absorbed twin. So there's a great scene at the beginning where they're like doing brain surgery. There's like an eyeball opening up in the kid's brain. So
very Takashi Miike and Masters of Horror.
Very George Romero in 1993. So the evil version of him comes back, starts killing people. It's all played by Timothy Hutton, so he's like the main guy, but also the bad guy, and the bad guy is so fucking great. It ends with a dude getting eaten to death by birds, and they're like slowly pecking away his body, and it's all just beautiful, graphically horrifying, gory practical effects. I almost went with Creepshow, but I figured somebody else is going to say Creepshow, and people really need to watch The Dark Half. Like this, I recommend, Bobby, we need to watch this on the show because it's just that good a fucking movie.
Yeah, I think I saw it probably in the 90s. It's none of this is ringing a bell though, but that sounds very intriguing.
Spectacular, as they say somewhere. Who has seen The Dark Half other than me? And Bobby, maybe 20 years ago.
Nice hipster choice, Adam.
Nope. How is it?
I genuinely think I've seen it, but again, I can't remember. I think it must have literally been when it came out.
Right. If I know you guys, like I think I know you guys, as in like you do a horror podcast, you're gonna fucking love The Dark Half. Like, trust me, I hope this, if nothing else, the 4 other people on this line fucking watch that shit because you'll love it.
And generally, I think at least giving, I like non-zombie Romero is usually still fucking primo. So
well, I've watched a lot of Romero, and the shit that really stands out the most are his original trilogy of zombie movies and his King stuff. Like, because Creepshow is fucking spectacular, and like Dark Half is Two Evil Eyes is all right, but that's still not even like Romero at his best. But when he has King to sink his teeth into, it's some of the best shit that's out there, in terms of King adaptations, for sure.
Excellent. Definitely on my list now to watch.
Although someone did point out to me that it's the same plot as whichever, I can't remember which Amicus anthology it is, where it's the Denham Elliott and he's a writer and he keeps it, and there's a Strangler Dominic.
Watching Sometimes They Come Back today, I'm like, this is a shittier version of the fucking Dark Half. Like, King might regurgitate his ideas but the guys make a very good living out of it. They based Sutter Kane on the guy. You got to give him credit for that,
Let's not get carried away here, Adam.
Do you read Sutter Kane? Sorry.
Today is Mummy's Day.
Who's next? Who's up?
Well, I was just go ahead, Adam.
I was just going to pause it there. Can I just say that Adam, your
Thank you.
Do you read Sutter Kane is fantastic. But also listening to the last episode, Bobby,
want some too, buddy?
Want some the cop?
It's great.
That's it.
We should just, Bobby. Seriously, what this is telling me is we need to adapt in the Mouth of Madness for the stage, and we need to star in it.
Sounds incredibly work intensive.
It does seem like a lot, but imagine what you could do with a budget and some like construction paper. I don't know how they do theater, but we can make some little crafty
construction paper. Yes. Spirit gum and construction paper.
I've been to a theater production once or twice.
All right, let's get the other Adam out of the way. What's your number 3, I guess?
Well, back to what you were saying about sort of not necessarily nostalgia or something like that, but just the sort of connection of when you saw something. So my first one, and sorry to say, I think it may not be everyone's favorite, but I think I've got to go with The Dead Zone, because it was the first Stephen King
that
film that
it was
I
hard
watched.
for me not to make that my number one, because I figured someone would.
I intentionally kept The Shining and The Dead Zone off of my list because I'm like, somebody else is gonna bring them up because they're just fucking excellent films.
And little teaser for later. Remind me, guys. I want to hear Lee's take on The Shining.
I'm interested to hear that too.
You won't need to remind us. Just mention it.
So I don't think I know much about The Dead Zone.
Well, Dead Zone, I'm not sure. I think The Fly was the first David Cronenberg film I saw, but I'm pretty certain this is definitely the first Stephen King film I saw. And there was I think it was Channel 4 had shown the miniseries of It. Then they showed the miniseries of Golden Years, which stuck in my head more because they had the Bowie song on the advert. And then they just decided to show some Stephen King films and everything else like that. And I can't remember what it was, but The Dead Zone, and then a couple of weeks later was when I first saw Carrie. And both brilliant. But yeah, The Dead Zone, I rewatched it the other day. It's just so fucking cold. It sounds so obvious, but it's clinical. It's because it's Dave Cronenberg, but it just is. It's like reading the doctor's notes on what happened. Yeah. It just feels like so fucking real. It's like you're reading Herbert Lom's journal when you sort of watch. You're like, fucking hell, this is dispassionate, but fucking massive, tragic, and horrible things.
And I'm assuming Christopher Walken is a good choice.
Never a bad choice.
Oh, fuck yeah, he's amazing.
He could play Mother Goose, and it would be great.
Yeah.
But also,
I'd watch that. Yeah.
Also, Martin Sheen as
the president.
Stilson. Oh my god, just brilliantly a fucker. Just just can't stick the prick. And you're like, well done, Martin, because I like you, Martin, but well done because I fucking hate you as this guy. And and I do remember. A few years back, because it's always been a connection of Cronenberg films with me and Lee's brother Dean. When Trump won the election, I did just message him, "The missiles are flying, hallelujah." It was just, and I knew.
Was that Cronenberg's kind of first big budget property to work? I'm trying to. Well, I'm looking at it now.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it was
where they get, they gave him some notoriety, like a story that has some, budget and actors, and I don't know.
I mean, he'd already made Scanners,
Had he?
And yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Scanners was before Dead Zone. Right.
I think this was the first studio was sort of giving him money to do stuff.
And he did a great job on it. But it what you said there, like the fact that it feels like the clinical notes of it, that makes total sense. That's like totally Cronenberg, like all of it, right? Like Dead Ringers and The Fly, like all of it,
Yeah.
Even that description is body horror.
All of them. Yeah. But yeah, that combination of him and King as just
the thing about Dead Zone is like it was made the same year as Videodrome.
Yeah.
Okay? And Videodrome feels 100% like this is David Cronenberg, where The Dead Zone feels like a totally different movie, totally different vibe of movie, right? Which is him taking on King, but it's fucking beautiful.
Yeah. Because that was like the holy quadrilogy. Or well, what's five? What's five? What would be?
Dude, it's not a thing. What are you even doing?
No, I'm just saying, like this is a hell of a run here. The Brood, Scanners, Videodrome, Dead Zone, The Fly, like all in a row. Like that's fucking pretty.
But then he did Dead Ringers and Naked Lunch. I mean, like he didn't stop.
Yeah,
the
man doesn't stop
going.
He
didn't stop.
He does a lot of book adaptions. You forget it, but it's like because obviously there's this Naked Lunch and. Yeah, just loads of stuff that is
history of violence.
Not his necessarily his
not his stories.
Sort of scripted stuff.
Cronenberg's very dynamic. He doesn't. He'd do more than just body horror, but I think that's what he's. Yeah.
So I have a question. You made it sound, Adam, as if there was a certain time where all of a sudden in England they started showing all this Stephen King stuff, and like we were spoiled over here with all of it the whole time. Like, is that kind of what you're saying? Like, all of a sudden, like, oh, okay, well, the BBC is going to show all these fucking things now that y'all never got a chance. You, Chris, said that too. Like, you never got a chance to see before.
They were basically Stephen King's following over here was pretty much on video. Certainly, it was people had read him, and but the videos were what you saw it. And in that initial 80s run, I was probably too young to get any of the access to any of those. And then, it would have been sort of late. It was like I say, it was definitely when they'd done It and Golden Years, and they were like, oh, these are really successful, so we'll import them over. And they were like, and we could show loads of his films as like films, and we was like, and they just suddenly it was like, oh, we're doing a Stephen King season, and I mean, and the thing, what I think there was. There was loads of stuff in there. There was wasn't that the first time I saw The Shining? Probably. So it was just this weird. But the weird thing was, I hadn't watched it because it was kind of like as I'm sitting there, I'm like,
that's
and you were right.
Watching that, and then somehow, And then somehow I think it was obviously just like maybe it was a year later or whatever like that. But then it was like, oh great, they're showing all these things. They didn't repeat it. I probably would have watched it then, but yeah. But there are still it was from that little season, but I've still got sort of
the movie, the original.
I've never seen Pet Sematary.
Oh wow!
Any version of Pet Sematary.
Hey, what's the kite guy say about it?
That kite's really getting up there. It's what's his name from the Munsters? I almost said Fred Ward, but that would work too for some reason.
Fred
Ward. It's Herman Munster.
That kite's really getting up there, and then it's just an innocent old man making the observation that a kite is really getting up there, and then the child from Kindergarten Cop gets hit by a 18-wheeler big rig on a country road. That's the story of Pet Sematary.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
I got my first contrarian, unpopular opinion pick of the episode, but I feel like I'm in safe company already to bring this up. Again, these are more autobiographical than they are quality. But this was one of the first times I got over the self-consciousness of going to the movies by myself and not feeling like I need to, have a friend with me or something. I'm just like, whatever, I don't care. I'll just go to a movie.
You need to have friends to do that in the first place, Bobby.
I know, right? The internet wasn't around yet. But actually it was 2003. Lawrence Kasdan directed, hell of a cast, Dreamcatcher. Okay.
Dreamcatcher.
This movie,
interesting choice.
This movie is panned by most people, understandably, mind you. Okay, it's not a quality film. However, it
makes your list.
It has the sum of its parts are not quality, but the parts are quality. Okay, if that makes sense. Okay. Okay.
No, this doesn't say much, but I have not heard of this.
Bad.
I am 50.
Tom Sizemore's in it. It's got Tom Sizemore, right?
Tom Sizemore. Listen to this cast. Right. Lawrence Kasdan directed. First off, the cast is Tom Sizemore, Morgan Freeman, Stephen King regular Thomas motherfucking Jane, 2003 era Jason Lee, the fake, who I call him the fake Bill Paxton, Timothy Oliphant. And not Mark, but Donnie Wahlberg, as in the New Kids on the Block, playing a
nice
bald, retarded boy alien with psychic abilities. Now,
this all sounds bad on paper.
No, it does.
Really bad.
No, here's the thing. with Dreamcatcher. I'm 50% convinced that Stephen King had access to AI before anyone else, and they just shoved all Stephen King stories into an AI and it spit out Dreamcatcher because it has kind of your ensemble cast. And then you have Lawrence Kasdan who wrote The Big Chill, I believe. It feels like The Big Chill meets The Blob meets there was something else I thought of earlier. Anyway, it's a weird fucking movie, and it's about a group of guys getting the band back together, getting the old crew back together. They go on their yearly vacation. Turns out their childhood friend, who turned out to be an alien, played by Donnie Wahlberg, gave them special psychic powers when they were children, not knowing why. Jesus. They just kind of used it. They just kind of used it to their advantage through life. And then all of a sudden, they're at this cabin in the woods, and there's an evil alien presence that has kind of taken over the vicinity of those woods, and it is not good. But
why how did this make the list?
Because I love it
at all.
Damian Lewis playing Jonesy in this movie is incredible. All the flashback scenes with I call them Kiefer Sutherland bully scenes, even though Kiefer Sutherland's not in this movie. Kiefer Sutherland, Stephen King bully scenes, you got that in there. And then you have like Morgan Freeman playing the kind of like government agent that's blocking off the corridor of the area so that the alien presence doesn't escape, but he's doing his job. But it's also like, we're Americans, you can't do this to us. It's that whole thing. It's definitely worth watching. Not a great movie, but in my top 3. Thank you.
I enjoy it. I feel exactly the same. Like it's too weird and there's too much crammed in, and it's very much a film of two halves.
Oh yeah.
But it's a great hangover movie. If you want something, just occasionally you sort of nod off and then you wake up.
Let me put it to you this way. I saw it in the theater by myself. Had a great time alone. One of the best times I've had alone in a long time watching.
How drunk was this before? This was before you could drink.
Yeah. I was like, I was like 19 or 20. Right. But and then here's what it is. It's the perfect. We used to have. They don't really sell DVDs anymore, but at Walmart they have this big giant bin of unorganized DVDs that go for $5 back in 2003, and Dreamcatcher was always in there. And I was like, I saw this in the theater. I enjoyed what I saw, and I still have the $5. It's the cardboard opening box, shitty. yeah.
I've got that version too. I don't think they ever made it on a proper.
No one was asking.
It was always
for it,
just in a paper envelope.
But I just think, I mean, as not great as it is, it's weird that it exists, and it's not as bad as people say it is. So I will double down on the hipster contrarian bullshit.
Yeah. You won, Bobby. Well, let's see what Lee and Chris have to say. But I think you won on shitty, fucking random.
Don't talk to me till you've seen it, Adam.
Go watch The Dark Half. Go watch The fucking Crow, Bobby.
Yo, it has Jason Lee in the era like of Damian My Name Lewis? Is Earl.
Isn't Damian Lewis basically just like Richard Atherton or that other guy?
You shut your goddamn mouth right now.
He's like the same guy. It's the same fucking guy.
Damian Lewis in this movie does the whole schizo thing where he's having a conversation with the alien possessed in his own head while he's riding a motorcycle. And it was that scene where I was like, or not a motorcycle, a snowmobile. He's on a snowmobile and he's going crazy and talking back and forth to himself on a snowmobile. Two different characters, one actor. It's fucking wonderful cinema.
I'll watch it.
Well, don't be. If you're disappointed, don't come after me.
This sounds like no. It just.
I think Lee put it perfectly. It's a good hangover movie. You don't really have to pay attention to it, but it's very. It has. Oh, we're real quick while we're on the topic. It has shitworms in it. Shitworms.
Oh,
I love.
You didn't say shitworms before. Now
I love a slimy worm movie. This is totally Stephen King's. King's. What's that? Yeah, it's like Slither or Deadly Spawn.
Let me just get this clear. So there's retarded bald alien people and
just one played by Donnie Wahlberg.
Okay, there's a retarded bald alien person and shitworms.
He's not retarded. He's just like an alien. But
King sold. He's in.
Yeah,
we're gonna watch that.
Yeah,
we're watching that after Maximum Overdrive's over. Man.
It means a lot to me that you said that, Adam.
Hey, You're welcome.
I'm glad I could bring Dreamcatcher as a bonding moment for you and your son. Shit worms and retarded alien men, played by Donnie Wahlberg.
It's a new kid on the block, son. That's what that is. All right, who's next? Who's next? Lee or Chris? Who's up?
Let's just go left to right.
Chris, it's alphabetical order.
Okay.
All right. Well, so you completely messed me up with all of this, right? So I thought I knew Stephen King. I was like, we decided, 3 Kings, right? Okay, I pretty much know what it's going to be. I'll rewatch them. I might not have seen them for a long time. Then you posted that list, and it's like, what? I didn't even know half of these were Stephen King. So I thought I'm going to have to watch some of these. So I won't say them all, but I saw you'd mentioned Sleepwalkers. I thought, what is that? I mean, it doesn't sound great.
We should just dedicate the rest of this episode to Sleepwalkers,
right? And the opening
God,
scene.
We've done that.
Yeah, no, but the opening scene is that I know, like, but it's Mark Hamill dressed as a sheriff, and there's what's the song? Boadicea playing in the background, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to carry on watching this, and it just gets crazier and crazier, and I was like, it came off. What did we watch? We just watched Jason X.
These are all
so it came off
terrible
the back
movies.
of watching that.
No.
Jason
X
is horrible too.
It's almost
Shut
like
your goddamn mouth.
Well, yeah, no, but well, wait. I think there's another one like Jason X that it's self-aware.
I went through that phase in life as well, Chris, but eventually you come to determine that Mick Garris just doesn't have any talent. Aside from critters.
So
that's us.
So that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So I don't actually know what else he's done, but critters, that's good. But yeah, so I decided I'm going to choose Sleepwalkers as my third because of just because of the opening scene. I was like, yeah, I had no idea Mark Hamill was anything to do with Stephen King.
You should have gone with your original list.
And I mean, and what? Like, well,
yeah.
I might.
No, I like that. I did not expect
obvious.
us to go in this direction, but I'm glad it has.
But
hold on a second as well. Sleepwalkers is the one with all the other fucking directors in it, isn't it? That where there's that one scene where
I think
like Clive Barker,
in it.
John Landis.
Is there? Are you sure?
Yeah, you're right.
So Stephen
George
King appears
Romero,
in it.
maybe.
Stephen King appears in most of his.
Yes,
well, not most, but a lot of his. Yeah.
I've not noticed him in most of them. Then.
Yeah.
Did you not
notice him in this?
This machine called me an asshole.
Yeah, well, to say worse. No, but so I watched that once. Like 20 years ago.
Sleepwalkers that has Joe Dante, John Landis, Clive Barker, Toby Hooper.
Wow.
All in one scene. And Stephen King. Yeah.
That's it.
And
so
a group of
we've
cats
really failed in our
destroyed him,
Chris, haven't we? In that you didn't spot any of them, did you, Chris?
No, well, yeah. That's not a surprise, but I do think this was the perfect film to watch after Jason X because it was like I'm stepping back into a slightly more intelligent, plot-driven
you're not.
scenario.
That's debatable.
I'll work. I'm working my way up.
I mean, I can understand
one
watching
small
it.
step at a time.
Watch.
Go on, Adam. Make the case for Jason X being more intelligent than Sleepwalkers.
I can understand watching Sleepwalkers after watching Jason X and thinking that's an intelligent breath of fresh air. But if you literally watch like any other movie before Sleepwalkers, yeah.
This is not in a vacuum.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. It's all relative. Yeah, I understand.
It's all relative.
Yeah. No, watch The Dead Zone and then watch Sleepwalkers and be like, why the fuck did I just watch Sleepwalkers? Mm-hmm.
So look,
we'll work our way back.
This is my third, right? We will work our way up from here.
He's got Sometimes They Come Back. He's got
The Langoliers.
The Langoliers.
Mm-hmm.
Graveyard Shift.
Let's not forget about that.
Lawnmower Man 2, Beyond Cyberspace.
Job's War.
Oh.
I nearly watched Graveyard Shift today just because it is, in almost every list, it is the absolute bottom of those lists because it's so bad. Yeah, I got bored before the end of the trailer
Wait.
at 2 minutes and
What are we
20
talking
seconds.
about?
I
The
was
graveyard
bored by
shift,
the end of
graveyard
the
shift.
trailer. So
I
I don't know if
I
I've
didn't
even
see it.
seen that, to be
Yeah.
honest.
I saw it, but it's not like something that's like on the list so much. to
Probably
watch
not.
Again.
But maybe.
I did see it back in the day, though. It's probably better than fucking Dreamcatcher or Sleepwalkers, if we're being honest. Anyways, what you got, Lee? What you got?
So I started, as I say, at the very bottom of the list. Mick Garris again, unsurprisingly enough. So I watched Riding the Bullet
I have
today.
not.
Has anybody seen Riding the Bullet?
Is this the first time you watched it? Was today?
Oh,
No.
No. So I bought it about 10 years ago and I watched it and it was utterly forgettable. But it kept coming up on the list as being terrible. So I was like, oh, I've got that on DVD. I'll dig that out and give it a watch. It's one of those films where you watch it and you get to the end and you just go, what was the fucking point in any of that? It was just completely...
I'd just like to remind everyone, this is the top 3 Stephen King movies.
We're doing this list wrong, boys. We're doing this fucking
Sorry,
list
go
wrong,
ahead.
okay? Continue, please.
So the story is, it's a young boy. He's obsessed with death. He lost his father at a young age. His mother has now had a stroke, and he is trying to hitchhike back home to get to the hospital to see her before she dies.
See his dying mother?
It was a different time.
Yeah, it's set in 1969. But yeah, and it kind of, so he hitchhikes, and everybody who he hitchhikes with is weird, super weird. And then the last one is David Arquette, who may or may not be the devil.
I'll be
David
right back.
Arquette is the devil, yes.
Oh man, it's just such a pointless film. Like, I just didn't get the point of any of it. And it's a mess. There is no but coming. That was it. It is an absolute shit show of a film. It's got a 5.2 on IMDb, which I totally don't understand. I'm guessing there's only 4 people have voted, and
So
they
this
were all
is
in the
one of
film,
your picks,
or they were the mothers of people
For your
who were
top
in the film.
3 Stephen King movies.
All right.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, well, I wanted to, go back and fill in the gap. Basically, I wanted to watch the stuff that I've seen, but made such a little impression
Well,
that I remembered nothing about
what
it.
would you say is
that's
a good
what
one? What's a good one? I want to know what are the good ones of Stephen King. Because half of this list hasn't sold me yet.
The thing, I was like, I can't go.
Dreamcatcher, Sleepwalkers, and Riding the Bullet.
I was like, I can't go. I was like, there's no point in doing Creep Show because everyone just gushes about that, rightly so, because it's fucking awesome. It is exactly the same. And we were saying about personal, connections with film. It, for me, I remember when that came out on VHS, I was at that age, I was about 13. So I was too old to want to spend New Year's Eve with my parents, but I wasn't old enough that people were having parties yet. So I went to the video store and hired it out and sat on my own in the dark and watched it in my bedroom. And it was one of the best New Year's Eves.
You're not talking about Riding the Bullet. You're talking about Creep Show,
fucking
right?
Awesome.
It. Okay.
No,
It.
That's It. The TV miniseries. But that then led me to go, Stephen King films. I've not read any of his stuff. I need to watch more of his films. And the next one that came out, I did the same thing with, not New Year's Eve, but I hired out and made a whole big thing. And that will be next on my list, of my shit list, because it was dire. But we'll get to that when the time is right.
I guess, Crude Dude, you're next. Top that.
I think that my list is going to differ from all of yours because the movies I picked are actually good. So I'm the 2 of my 3 favorite ones, and they were ones that originally came to mind immediately because they've been some of my favorite movies my whole life, are 2 that aren't even what Stephen King's known for. This one is a 1987 absolute classic, and let me give you the cast. There's one person in the cast that all you need to fucking worry about, and that's Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm talking about the Running Man.
That almost made my list. Fuck yeah!
Oh,
fuck yeah!
Yes.
That's a consensus. I think the Running Man is. I mean, you got Arnold, obviously legend, so many good movies, but like the Running Man always gets buried underneath all his other great stuff. Like I fucking love that movie.
Love it. It's so good. So to give you the recap, it is a futuristic world run by corporations, not unlike our own. But the prisoners in war, they send them to this awesome game show called The Running Man, where they have to fight gladiators played by Jesse Ventura and Jim Brown and the Professor Tanaka. And it's fucking awesome. Yep. And Arnold is a good guy, but they send him there for crimes he didn't commit. And he escapes, he gets put on The Running Man, and he fucks everybody up. He's fucking Arnold.
And can I just say, Richard Dawson, known for being the host of Family Feud, plays an incredible Donald Trump in this movie. It's fucking perfect. And I'm like, I know he's just playing a game show host, but like he should have gotten way more roles after The Running Man. He's a hell of an actor, that Richard Dawson.
But I mean, after you do The Running Man, like what else do you do?
You peaked at that point. Family Feud, Running Man, that's a good career right I want that. I want his job. I want to host The Purge or The Running Man or whatever America decides to do with in the next political campaign.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if I ever get arrested, I would prefer to enter something like Running Man.
Than like,
that seems like pretty good.
True. True.
Yeah.
Really. There are only two options, really.
It's such a perfect. You can imagine people watching that show.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah, no.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's
we're 4 or 5 years away from having a real Running Man.
Being brutally
murdered.
I
mean, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, pretty much.
I prefer it to the fucking reality.
But it looks like. It looks like Prime Era WWF.
I have a friend that's a.
Do you know what I mean? It's got that whole thing and the bit where it's like, oh, you win the board game.
Yeah.
Everything about it feels right as just. Oh yeah, this is commercial too.
I have a friend that's one of those. He's like a producer of those types of like kind of game show reality TV things. I'm going to pitch this to him and be like, dude, just make The Running Man
just make the fucking Running Man.
But it also has like Dweezil Zappa, Mick Fleetwood, Jesse Ventura, Jim Brown. Like it almost feels like a canon film. It's like of that era of like late 80s. Like it's almost like over the top, but it's it's
but good.
But you have like those kind of like
over the top, but good.
All the weird comic book characters. It is an over the top Stephen King is what it is.
And Dynamo is Grossberger
from The Wanderers.
Oh, I love The Wanderers.
Y'all seen The Wanderers? Oh shit, The Wanderers. It's not Stephen King, but it's a good one. Yeah. All right. The Running Man. I mean, there's so many movies I'm going to have to list when we're done with our lists because I know y'all are going to come up with some more bullshit next. All right.
Well,
but I mean, back to the Trump thing. I literally showed Claire The Running Man the night before the last election.
It's everything.
Because it was like, this might be my last time to show
it's either
you this
Richard Dawson, Biff from Back to the Future, and then Dennis Hopper in the Mario Brothers movie. Like those are that's who our president was.
and
any Dennis Hopper
Land
just in
Death,
general,
the fourth Romero one.
I love this timeline. I will never.
Dennis Hopper just played King Koopa again when he did that fucking Land of the Dead bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, who's next? You just said Running Man. Adam. Crude Rude dude.
The other Adam.
Adam.
Right. Well, The Running Man was also definitely on my list, so I can bump on so on, but. I'm going to go with probably, I don't know, another kind of, one that I don't seem to get a lot of love until I Googled it, and then I saw a lot of people giving it love, saying this doesn't get a lot of love.
Hell yeah.
But I'm going with The Mist.
Good choice.
Frank Darabont.
Our first good movie on the list.
Adaptation. Because
no, he said The Dead Zone. He said The Dead Zone.
Okay, let me just have the hyperbole here, Adam.
Same wavelength.
It's just for fun, just making banter. I'm sorry. You don't let your. Never mind.
The
Adams have formed a gestalt, and But yeah, this was one where it was on one night, and that was literally my motivation of watching it. And okay, I went in with that level of expectation, and actually I was like, this is fucking good. And I don't want to spoil it if people, I don't know who's seen it, who hasn't. But the end is
of course
not Stephen King's
it's a good ending.
ending.
It's a good ending.
And Stephen King basically said, and Stephen King's basically just
it's
said,
like when
that's the ending now.
It's like when Dylan heard
That's
All Along the
better than the one I
Watchtower,
came up
the
with.
Jimi Hendrix version. He's like, nah, that's how it was supposed to sound. And like, all right, cool.
Yeah, so that was what I had in mind when I made that. But you just, pulled it. Good job. Well,
right.
Trent Reznor and Johnny Cash with Hurt as well. It's that thing. Oh, yeah, nice. There's now. And I just remember because it's my favorite subgenre of horror, which is
it's like a Twilight Zone episode.
Aren't people fucking awful? And you know, just that whole sort of thing where it's like, let's put a group of people together because that will end well. Because they won't just turn into
immediately.
It is a trope, but I think
minutes.
it's a warranted trope of like the real monsters or the it's the monsters come out on Maple Street, basically.
It is very Twilight Zone, definitely. And apparently they've re-released it. You know when they went through that weird period of re-releasing things in black and white?
It is beautiful. Like, okay, so it does, because I mean that's the only issue anybody can have with the Mist. Really, the CGI does get a little janky over the years, but it still looks good even in color. But no, my buddy bought the my singer bought the black and white version, and we watched it on Father's Day. If you haven't seen the movie, that's a little rib at the ending.
Did you watch Night of the Hunter next?
No, but we watched The Mist on Father's Day. In the black and white version, I would seek it out if I was you, because it does it adds that atmosphere, and with it in black and white, the CGI is so much more forgivable.
Yeah.
But
I've got the dual version on DVD,
nice.
where it comes with 2 discs, a color and a black and white, and I've watched them both. Oh yeah, and it's a great film from beginning to end, but like you say, without giving it away, that last 1 minute of the thing is such a punch in the gut, even when you know it's coming.
I love it. Fucking love it. Well, and I wanted to mention too, like, this is Darabont. Like, that's one of Frank Darabont's movies, and he works very closely with Stephen King. He's made some of the best adaptations. I'll get to that in a minute. But and so I'm sure it's okay for King to be like, yeah, Frank, you did a good job. You did a good job on my ending. That ending is better. But did a hell of a job. The Mist is tremendous. Your list has been great so far, Adam. Great.
I like Chris's list the best so far.
Thank you, Adam. As has yours, sir.
Wait for it.
All right. Well, again, this is also super personal. It's one of the first times that, and let me preface, I'm the king of prefaces. You know, when you're really into a book or a video game or a movie where if you're not playing it, reading it, or watching it, like if you're at school or at work, you're like craving it. You're like, I just want to get home and fucking watch the rest of that. And this is one of the first times I experienced this. This is a mini series directed by one Mick Garris.
Great. Here we go.
Called The Stand, which is not that good, but
here we go once again.
So my friend's older brother had it recorded off TV after I'd already watched it, live on the broadcast of it. It was one of those things where it's like, the binge watching stuff nowadays really draws from this, where they just kind of jerk you off and then throw your cock down at the very end, and you have to wait till the next episode. And that's kind of the first time I got like televised blue balls, I guess, is from Stephen King's The Stand. And go.
Wait, I'm making notes.
Blue balls, some of my like first formative year crushes are in this movie, which is Gary Sinise. No, it's Molly Ringwald as a brunette. Okay, which was interesting. Laura San Giacomo. I think she was on Just Shoot Me, but she has the gap in her tooth and now have like a gap tooth fetish now, I think, because of this movie. And then, of course, my favorite scream queen, Shawnee Smith, has a cameo in it as well. But this is just your and then the guy that played Randall Flagg is phenomenal in it. It is like the first experience of binge watching. And if you haven't seen The Stand, it's basically a post-apocalyptic, what we basically lived through, only not everyone died just now. Basically where that could have gone. And again, more of like the not just the real monsters or the humans, but the way that good and evil separates in those types of, and it becomes this hyper dualistic conflict between good and evil after most of the world dies off. And again, Mick Garris directed it. Take that for what it's worth.
I mean, he's made this list more than any other director so far.
Yeah,
strangely enough.
Yeah, it just didn't age great because it's early 90s television. It's early
90s US television. That's the thing. Like I asked my mom, and this was her list. The number one was The Stand because she loves it. It's great. It's a great adaptation of the books. The book is it's fantastic. But my whole, just so y'all know, like I was telling my mother this today as we were watching The Dark Half, that the whole reason I even have a podcast I'm into horror movies is because of my mom. Because as a child, she would be watching all these horror movies, and I would watch them with her. And so that's now all that I watch. But The Stand is great. It's just long. It's got Max Headroom as the trash can man.
Frewer, trash can man. Rob Lowe,
awesome.
Dauber from Coach.
All the stars.
All the stars. Dauber from Coach.
Early
and
90s.
Pre-Lieutenant Dan, Gary Sinise. I mean...
I was thinking when we were going into this that we were going to be talking about directors, like how certain directors would show up repeatedly, and I had no idea it was going to be Mick Garris that we were going to be fucking. that never came into my mind.
In mostly jest, I consider Mick Garris a hack, but he has created so many movies I love. So if Mick Garris is listening, I love you, and I love that you look like an old witch woman.
Amen to that.
I've got to say, my personal connection with this film, which I'd kind of forgotten until I was looking through the list for this. So we talk about like the ultimate party movies. Oh yeah, you get this film, you put it on when you got a load of friends, and you're all drinking, you're having a great. I had a load of friends one night, and we all finished at a nightclub, and none of us were ready for bed. And someone went, "Oh, let's all go back to so and so's," and we got back, and they had hired The Stand on 2 VHSs from the local store. And we sat up until the sun came up, drinking and watching The Stand, and totally ruined our fucking evening.
It's like 8 hours.
I know, you watched the whole fucking 8 hours.
Every time I had the 2 VHS growing up, and every time I was homesick from school, I was like, well, I guess it's going to be a Stand day, and that's when I would watch it. I watched the entire thing in one sitting, and it's okay. It's all right.
It's bleak as fuck is what it is. It's Chris, Chris, if you haven't seen it,
I'd love it.
This is your new Christmas Day movie.
Yeah.
You would love this.
Chris, you've read The Stand, right?
Well, I'm fairly certain I have. But like I said, we may have read certain sections of all of the books. The best bits, probably.
Right. A lot of the hardcore Stephen King fans of the books that I've met through the years is just like The Stand is a fucking masterpiece, but apparently the miniseries does not do it as well a justice. Wait, so Lee, you don't like The Stand?
No, I think it's a very good film, but it's one of those it's a great film. I'll never go back and watch it again because it just leaves you feeling horrible and dirty.
It's irreversible.
But you'll go watch Riding the Bullet again, I'm guessing.
Oh, God, no. That DVD is going straight in the bin. I'm so done. The problem is, I'll make the same mistake again in 5 years' time. I'll go, oh, yeah, that's on the shelf. I should probably watch that. And then I'll just go, what the fuck have I just done with an hour and a half?
Well, it's funny you mentioned this was a party movie in your experience. This is the, sit alone, home alone, by myself movie, I think. But it's very it's comfort food for me more than anything.
Lee has the unfortunate thing of he has a lot of friends who really like bleak shit, and I include myself in that statement.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But I do know that Lee once had like just a few people over, and apparently someone brought Antichrist as a party film.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Like the Lars von Trier.
Lars von Trier.
That's a party
Fortunately,
movie
they didn't
for
watch
sure.
it, but
That's a first date movie.
Luckily, I managed to talk them out of it, and I can't remember what we watched instead. But yeah, I was like, yeah, this is definitely not the vibe. But
You do
half a
seem to
dozen
pick the wrong
people-
friends, Lee. Really,
You went
don't
with
you?
a Serbian
I didn't
film
want-
instead.
Like, what goes wrong there?
Oh,
also this again, Channel 4 over here were the people who showed all the Stephen King miniseries, and I just all I remember of The Stand is the 50-minute like preview with "Don't Fear the Reaper" over it.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one that was just, but that was just on every ad break that they had.
Yep. And even in the book, at the very beginning of the book, he quotes Blue Oyster Cult. I'm like, oh, how profound. It's the Blue Oyster Cult lyric before the Stephen King book.
Deep.
All right. Who would be next? Chris?
I think I'm next. All right. So as Lee just said, he may never watch The Stand again. There's a good chance I may never watch my next two
Oh,
again.
good.
Right? And yeah, I've still picked
These are
them.
not the best.
They're not the best. They're not. But I still have a lot of Stephen King to watch, clearly. So I'm picking the ones that I happen to have seen that I
Please say
like
The
for
Night
some
Flyer.
reason. I have not seen that. But
Don't.
well, wait till I do so.
Well,
Now we have
actually
mentioned
do
this
it,
one as
yeah.
well.
It's like Sleepwalkers quality. You'll love it.
You'll love it.
But like, you know, like we're doing, it is personal. That's why I've picked this one. So I'm going for The Lawnmower Man. And
Lawnmower Man.
I would say this film makes you ponder deep questions like, what is consciousness? Can we enhance our brains Neuralink style, like Elon Musk? And did I just see a lawnmower fly? And you know, it's like at the time when like when this came out, I was properly I was into computers more than anybody else I knew. Like I knew one other person who had heard of freaking blue boxing, hacking, using hex editors, like all that stuff. Nobody else knew what the hell I was talking about, right? Going on bulletin boards, using a 2400 baud modem, you know, and you're getting the characters coming down and so I was always looking for cutting edge technology. And this film, I knew nothing about
that?
it. Like it came on. I think
It's
I was
not
on
a bad
plane.
movie.
I'll tell you what. I think I was on my way to Florida on a plane, and it was playing, and I was like, "I'll watch this," and it blew my mind. I was like, not only has it got unbelievable graphics, it's all about VR. And I've been dreaming about VR existing, and then it's all about enhancing your brain. I was like, this is mad. And it's got horror aspects as well. So yeah, like at the time, it ticked every box I could possibly want from a film, and yeah, I was blown away. Clearly, it has not held up.
Chris, if you happen to be have a startup, I'd like to invest a tech startup. I'd like to invest in your company.
You should call it the Lawnmower Man.
I think I've reached the point where I would highly recommend you don't invest in anything I do. But yeah, I appreciate.
I like to roll the dice.
The faith there, yeah. But no, you know, like
I mean, it has Jeff Fahey in it. I mean, it's got that going for it. Pierce Brosnan,
I do love the
the second worst James Bond.
Oh, it has Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan,
too, right?
Yeah. I was never a huge Bond fan. That's pretty bad, isn't it? But
no, it's not. You're fine. I only like, as with Stephen King, I only like the shit Bond movies the best. So, anyway, yeah, Lawnmower Man. I haven't seen that in so long, but I mean, I don't ever remember it being like it's better than Sleepwalkers. I know that much.
There you go. See, I'm moving upwards.
Yeah, you got a hierarchy going on.
And you've got the VR sex scene that was the bit that every show used to, like every clip show would be like, and this is
cutting
edge. And then
cutting edge.
All right,
and really, we've reached
T1000
that point now. Yeah.
A blowy from a T1000. That's pretty much the Lawnmower Man.
Robert Patrick. Robert Patrick now.
Oh. No, he looks
He's
like
still a
some
handsome
carved
man.
skeleton out of beef jerky.
At least he's getting work. I'm glad he's getting work, you know?
Yeah.
Look, Lee, I'm sure you're going to improve things for us.
Yeah, from the Lawnmower Man. Take it up from there, maybe.
Okay,
If
so
possible.
I might be wrong, but I have a feeling that this is one of the films that the American contingent have regularly rubbished, and quite rightly so. So, as I said, I saw it and was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" I know Stephen King's done loads of stuff, and I know loads of his stuff's been adapted. And then, not long after I'd seen that, Sometimes They Come Back came out at the
Christ
God.
almighty,
No,
Jesus.
This
fuck.
made the list. This made the list. Oh fuck.
I watched it.
Oh fuck.
I watched it. Yeah, I just but the funny thing is, it's got so many of his like well-known tropes in it, like the whole 50s greasers, and the like the older teenage boys who are just like they're always so out of control, like almost trauma level of just, it's not a bit of bullying and a bit of pushing over younger kids in the dirt or whatever.
It's
always
He's
just
stabbing them
yeah.
and
You're just
running
stabbing
for
him
a
like,
train.
kids, boys will be boys.
Yeah, exactly. Mass murdering children.
I watched this with my mom today, and I was like, Mom, after all the shit I watched when I was a kid, like the threat of greaser bullies was nowhere near as serious as I thought it was going to be. Like I was really worried about greaser bullies. Yeah.
Yeah.
They never happened. It never materialized. No ghost fucking greasers ever bothered me,
It's also that weird thing that they get now when they're adapting Stephen King. They change the timeline because they're like, oh, well, we want to set it now, so we'll set the past in the 80s. And it's like, but anyone dressed like that in the 80s was like in Happy Days. It wasn't fucking...
They weren't toughs then.
Yeah,
they weren't toughs.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's such a ludicrous. It's funny because I watched it, and then I was chatting to Lady Jennifer earlier while she was cooking, and she was like, "Oh, so what films have you watched for tonight?" And I mentioned it, and I kind of told her the story, and she was like, "Right, so let me get this right. So the ghosts of children just turn up in his class,
in his classroom as students.
Yeah, and everybody can see them." And everything's perfectly fine. And nobody asks where they've come from, and I was like, "Yeah, no,
it's inclusivity."
Fucked. Like
they were transfer.
You're not allowed to ask.
From Midland.
They were hitting their DEI quota.
Yeah, but it's just, and again, I don't know how close the adaptation is because I've not read it. But yeah, it's just kind of a fit. Bobby has put on his 50s greaser jacket as I brought the film up. Good job.
It was dang. It was hung on my chair, and I was like, this is the.
I saw it when you got up earlier, and I nearly mentioned it, and I was like, no, I won't call him out on it. And I was like, no, he's put it on. It's fucking fair game now. I'm having it.
Yeah. Fucking sick is what it is.
I've got one just like it that belongs to my wife.
We should start a gang of child bullies.
Child bullies go stab children and get hit by trains.
I was going to say, you must have a flick knife in the pocket, Bobby. That's
no.
Or is it going to be one of those ones where you scare them a bit and then it's actually a flick comb and you just do your quiff?
Do your quick.
I actually have one. There. I have a butterfly knife, but it's not a knife. It's a bottle opener.
See, I don't really have any hair on the top of my head, so I just use a real knife. That's just what I pull out.
Wow, nice. Yeah.
That's how I play. I like to pop it out and say, "What a dance!"
All right, this thing's super hot.
I can't understand. I believe this film's got 2 sequels as well.
And 2 sequels. Sometimes they come back again. Sometimes they come back for more. They're all on Tubi right now. If it had been better, I would have watched the sequels, but it was fucking terrible, Lee.
It was awful. So I don't know how they made more. But anyway, yeah. So that was my next movie. And I had a feeling that you guys hated it. So I wanted to watch it to work out why. And the answer is because it's dog shit. So
let's take a pause on the overall theme and thesis of this episode that I'm gathering here. Are we saying that Stephen King is hit or miss? Or even the misses are watchable, or like there's
Somebody
something,
likes them.
there's something about the shitty Stephen King that resonates with us for some reason. I don't know.
Yes, it is. Like even I think that you're right. I think that's what it is. I think even his bad stuff. Oh no, let me rephrase that. Even when his stories are badly made, there's still something about them that ends up being highly entertaining.
Yeah, bullies.
There's something there.
I will gentlemanly disagree because there's two movies that have been mentioned on this list, Sleepwalkers, and sometimes I never want to watch again. They're terrible. They're fucking terrible. Like hit or miss is not beyond. I mean, when he hits, it goes out of the park. When it misses, good God, it's like you're getting beamed in the nuts when he fucking misses. Like it's not good. It's
not just a miss, but a blow to the testicles.
Yeah,
I think it was also, Stephen King was
good.
always like I say, it was a video thing over here, so it was the potluck of who had the best poster. You would start watching. Sometimes they come back because it had a better poster than another.
It looks like Christine. So you go, oh yeah, Christine was great. It's going to be just like that, and then you go, oh, no, it isn't.
It's not.
That's very interesting.
So wait, are you saying that Christine is better than Sometimes They Come back, Lee?
I really like Christine. Christine's
fucking awesome. That almost made my list.
It seems as if like you made a top 3 list of like his best movies. You think Christine would have made that list?
I've got all his best ones. I was like, "They'll all be taken." I want to do something different.
You all have the same idea. You all pick shit, okay?
Yeah. Well, I will say, I'm looking at all 52 Stephen King movies ranked on Rotten Tomatoes. The shittier ones do have generally pretty badass posters. Graveyard Shift. We'll skip past Thinner. I don't even want to talk. Maximum Overdrive. Great poster. The Mangler is pretty cool. And Sleepwalkers. So there you go.
Now, the Dark Half poster always stood out to me. It's like purple, and there's like birds, and there's like a half a dude's face on there. Yeah. That one always stood out to me as a kid. Like the Dark Half like stuck with me throughout my whole life because it's such a great, excellent fucking movie. Watch it, people. But to get back to because it's back to my turn, right? It's back to my turn.
Sure.
So I'm gonna talk about another good. This is the number one, and like this is all seriousness. This is like, in my opinion, the best Stephen King movie. Again, it is out of character for what Stephen King is known for. And if you didn't know it was a Stephen King movie, you never would fucking guess. Another Frank Darabont fucking masterpiece, The Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Shawshank, y'all.
Don't taint this conversation with quality film, Adam.
Oh, God damn it. I thought this was what we were supposed to do. The wrong memo, guys.
No,
I got the wrong fucking memo.
Someone needed to bring up the non-horror stuff, and this is a great pick.
This was in my original list, definitely. But I had no idea. I had no idea it was Stephen King.
Right. You wouldn't.
I don't.
Know.
So, but
absolutely. He is much more than just horror, because you have Shawshank, you have The Green Mile, you have Stand By Me.
Masterpiece.
He does a good thrill, like
I didn't know Green Mile was
great.
I haven't seen Stand By Me.
Oh wow, you got to Stand By Me.
Dude, honestly, it's spectacular. So good.
Do you like bullies? Do you like greaser bullies? Down by the train tracks?
I'm getting a thing for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It grows on you.
It's like me and Gary Sinise.
So The Shawshank Redemption is about a guy who's sent to prison for crimes he didn't commit, and the years of abuse and hope that he deals with to eventually escape. Starring Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman.
So, would you rather be in the Shawshank prison or the Running Man?
Running Man all day long.
This would be more fun, I think.
Yeah, because you get decapitated more easier in the Running Man. I want to get my head cut off. I'm going to go.
You don't need years of strife behind bars and digging your way out.
I did love the way he manipulated his way into favor. Though, I mean, I don't think I'd seen a film, that complex before that. I can't think what it was, but that just grips you all the way through as he's just being the most sensible person in prison ever. Even though he was innocent. I mean, that's pretty crazy. He still stayed calm all the way through.
Still stayed calm. Horrifying. Did what he had to do.
Yeah.
There's nothing more horrifying
yeah.
to me than prison, to be honest. I'm not interested in that whatsoever.
I'm going to put Shawshank Redemption on right now.
Oh.
This was another one of those films that I never saw. Like, everyone was raving about it, and I never saw it. And then, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, I was sitting with Lady Jennifer one night, and I said, "Oh yeah, I've never seen Shawshank Redemption." And literally, she was like, "Right, well, we're stopping everything the night right now until you've watched it." Oh yeah, and it's just
that shot at the end is one of the
phenomenal,
great,
man.
iconic. When he's in the rain and everything. Like, it's up there with, like, I don't know, Mickey Rooney and Breakfast at Tiffany's.
I mean, the movie's also got like William Sadler. It's got Clancy Brown. It's got Clancy fucking Brown, y'all. Like that says a lot. Anything Clancy's in is just quality. It's the seal of quality is Clancy Brown. So
Morgan Freeman's not bad.
Not bad. He's not bad. He's not bad at all.
He's pretty good.
He's no Clancy.
I like the speckles on his face.
Yeah. He's like, it's like I got some freckles too. It's like we're brothers.
And I think I saw this just or not long after watching Jacob's Ladder. I think that was the way around it went. But anyway, in my head, I loved Tim Robbins at the time, and was blown away by how good he was.
He's a fantastic actor.
I don't think I've seen much else of him though.
Quick side note.
In that.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you're a Tim Robbins fan,
what I was going to say was,
Jesus fucking Christ. I don't think it's funny at all, gentlemen.
Sorry.
No. Adam, are you still there?
No, go ahead. You're good.
It doesn't even matter. I'll DM Chris after this. It has nothing to do with this.
I forgot what I was going to say because I was just fucking with you. It was great. I didn't even have I don't think I had a point to make, for being honest. I was just going to be an asshole.
That's a change of pace.
And it worked. This machine just called me an asshole. Maximum Overdrive, y'all. Playing now on Tubi. Check it out.
Actually, if you haven't, has everyone seen the trailer for Maximum Overdrive where it's just Stephen King fucking fizzing with cocaine?
Yeah.
Telling you it's the most dramatic thing. Watch it. It's more terrifying than anything else on our list.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's better than the trailer for Maximum Overdrive is objectively better than The Langoliers.
I would say so.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, a lot of people shit on Maximum Overdrive too, and it is a fucking awesome movie. Like, it has got everything in terms of explosions, killer cars. It's just fucking great.
It's Stephen King doing exploitation as well. It's just fucking weird. Like, it's like a 70s grindhouse movie, but it's Stephen King in the 80s. And Lisa Simpson's in it.
Yes.
Yeah. I told King when I was watching King, I was like, listen to her voice. I'm like, that's Lisa Simpson. He was like, oh my God. He went back in his room just now because Maximum Overdrive ended, but he watched the whole goddamn thing while I've been recording this. I
want to go to the Crude Rude Dude indoctrination camp so bad. Will you be my daddy?
Yeah, well, just don't say it like that, Bobby.
No deal then.
Yeah. Never mind. No, this isn't gonna work. All right. All right, who's next? Adam, what you got? Give me something good. I know we're gonna get a good one here.
I'm going with. I'm going mini-series. I think there is something to be said that some of the best stuff is the mini-series because his books are so fucking enormous that it kind of the short stories adapt them as films, and then the rest of it has got to be series. And I've gone with the classic, the 1979 Salem's Lot.
Hell yeah!
Fuck yeah, man!
I didn't even think about that.
Oh, I thought Toby Hooper. Hooper directed that shit.
James Mason being an utter bastard. It's very good. And I had a rewatch of it just this week, and I think Claire really enjoyed watching it with us. And back to that thing of amazing posters, that fucking video cover of just the house with the silhouette of Barlow over the top of it.
Real badass. Which
has basically become Ghost's entire album art.
Yeah, that's their whole fucking thing. They stole it from that, for sure.
And just so many sort of just really well done and
truly terrifying moments in that movie.
Yeah. the bits, the bit everyone talks about with the kids coming to the windows is rightly brilliant. But also when Barlow crashes into their kitchen, and he's literally a thing on the floor, and he's like, it reverses out into being him stood there, and yeah, and apparently, well, not apparently, I've read the bloody book, but in the book, like, he's much more just a straightforward, typical vampire. He's talks, and he's not Nosferatu. And I think that-that's the best thing they did with the film is just like
making him into Nosferatu. Yeah, just fucking straight up Orlok. It's fucking great.
Yeah. So you've got Barlow just doing the weird familiar thing with is he invulnerable to bullets? Why has he got super strength? But he goes out in daylight, and obviously that's just Fright Night and thousands of others from it.
I do love Fright Night.
Yeah. And also just the fact that Toby Hooper, I'm never inviting him to decorate around my house, because he manages to make greasy squalor a fucking art form. I mean, obviously it started with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but that house that he's in, I'm like, how does James Mason stay in this house? His suits would become mildewed and disgusting. But it's just fucking great. And you get 3 hours of it, which is without feeling like you're getting 3 hours of it, weirdly.
Excellent.
It is, but you get the entire film in the first 2 minutes as well. So I started watching it and I put it on, and you got like that quick rundown before the titles, and I was like, okay, was that the trailer? And I was like, no, they just told you everything that's about to happen in the next 3 hours in the first 3 minutes of the film. But somehow it still works. Like, it doesn't detract from it, and I don't know. But yeah,
because that's something we don't tend to get over here. I know that certainly, like, American telly I've seen from like that sort of period, it'd be like Columbo. They'd give you like a highlights reel right at the start of it.
What happened, and here's what they're going to figure out throughout the course of this, or whatever.
Which is not something that they did over here. Which is just so. At the start of Salem's Lot, like you say, you're just like, what? Is this what? Is this catch up? Have I put the wrong disc in? Am I watching the previously on? And it's just.
It's because it does that, showing you the post section before it shows you what you're about to see. So you see them in Mexico preparing to do battle, and then it gives you the run up, and you're just like, I don't know what timeline I'm in now, and then you kind of forget all that until you catch back up to it 2 hours later. It's a really strangely constructed miniseries, but it somehow works just because it's genius, and it's so beautiful to look at.
I really think that is the OG TV miniseries of Stephen King, because that was 79. Like, that was that was a big deal. Like, when that was before I was born, but I know, just from my mother being a Stephen King hound, but like, I know that was a big deal because everybody knew about Salem's Lot when I was.
Is your mom's name Cujo?
Yeah.
Sorry, Robbie, it was right there. I had to take it. She's a Stephen King hound.
Wasn't even a good fucking joke. Wasn't even a good joke. Anyways, that was pretty funny. So, no,
thank you, friend.
Salem's Lot was a big deal before, like, the late 80s when it came out, and Gold and all that shit started happening, like, in 90, and like the early 90s in America was just all Stephen King on TV, but it had been done the best by Toby Hooper fucking, 20 years before, 10 years before.
The 70s and early 80s has a handful of like very truly scary miniseries. I think like there was like Gargoyles, and Don't Be Afraid of the Dark was kind of fucked up. And
what are you talking about?
The 70s miniseries, Adam.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. And then what was the Steven Spielberg one about the truck? That was made for TV. It wasn't a miniseries.
Oh.
But,
Duel was made for TV.
Duel was made for TV, I believe.
Duel's badass.
Yeah. And then you have Salem's Lot. So I mean, I just feel like there was like it's almost, and I think Wes Craven even did a really fucking scary made for TV movie in the 80s. I don't know. It's just like, well, we don't want to give you a budget and do a wide release, so you can just make this horrendously horrifying movie and put it out to the general public on non-cable
on television.
Yeah.
Right. God bless them.
So
yeah.
Okay.
So Adam's done a good job here then.
Yeah.
Three great choices.
Yeah.
3 great choices from the Adams have delivered tonight, I think, folks. Let's see what.
I was able to bump because Adam also put the Running Man in, which would have been my third.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm hearing things that, like, I looked at the list online or whatever, and a lot of them, like, they're only just mentioning movies, and I completely forget about everything like miniseries. And I'm glad you said Salem's Lot. I don't even know why I didn't even put that together, but Salem's Lot.
I mean, you did say The Stand, Bobby. That's a TV.
That's true. That's true. Well, either way, this one's a real movie. This is my, I guess, number one. None of these for me were in any particular order, I don't think, but this is a Christmas episode, and my rule is if the movie has snow, it is a Christmas movie.
Yes.
And I watch this every Christmas, produced by I believe William Goldman or written by William Goldman and Stephen King of Princess Bride fame, directed by Rob Reiner of Princess Bride fame, starring James Caan and Kathy Bates. Misery. And I feel like Misery is one of this is 1990. I always consider the 90s as being this amazing revival of just thrillers, like just uncomfortable thrillers. You have everything like after that was like Silence of the Lambs, Malice, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, even like stuff like Basic Instinct, like that kind of non-supernatural, just very evil, fucked up people. But Misery, you made the joke earlier, Adam, about putting In the Mouth of Madness to the stage, but I really think you could do a hell of a job putting Misery to the stage. Especially, I'd like to see a director on the stage do the hobbling scene somehow.
Yeah,
so that would be pretty awesome. Is it essentially all in one in the bedroom?
More or less. I mean, it's in the house.
Okay.
It's probably...
There's a bookstore, and you got to be in a car and in the house.
It's probably 85-90% of the movie, though, is just James Caan and Kathy Bates, crazy-ass Kathy Bates, being crazy. And James Caan trying to finagle his way out of this situation after he starts to gradually realize that this is not an ideal place to be.
It's not going to end well.
It's like... It's genuinely stressful and it's genuinely satisfying by the end of it. And both those two together on stage as individual actors, James Caan and Kathy Bates are fucking amazing. But those two together in that movie, it's incredibly upsetting and a very, very good movie and a wonderful movie to watch as we celebrate the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
I might make this my New Year's watch.
Have you not seen it, Chris?
No, I remember the trailers, but I don't know what happens at the end.
Another good first date movie. Watch it with the
it's tremendous. It's really tremendous.
But yeah, there's something about an overweight middle-aged woman that wants to murder people because she's obsessed with something. A delusional overweight woman, and to Kathy Bates, like Dolores Claiborne is actually worth mentioning as well. It's a good companion piece to Misery, which is also Stephen King and Kathy Bates.
Mm-hmm. There was a TV show over here on the Hulu for a couple of years recently called Castle Rock that didn't get a lot of play, got canceled after 2 seasons, but it was like they made up stories in the Stephen King universe. It was cool, it was fun, but like the second season was basically Annie from Misery, but young. That was good. It was real messed up.
Spank Bank.
Spank Bank material. Like she's got to hobble a man when she gets older. Damn.
That's one thing I always wanted to see is what is young Annie Wilkes? What does that look like? It's
played by Lizzie Kaplan, who is pretty hot. I like Lizzie Kaplan. I would kick her out of bed for eating crackers or nothing now. Well, all right. So Misery. It's a good one.
All right. Is that meet your approval, Crude Rude Dude?
Ooh, yeah. That's the first one on your list that would make the cut, in my opinion.
So you said that if it's got snow in it, it's a Christmas film. So Dreamcatcher 2 would be.
I didn't even think about it. You're right. Dreamcatcher, The Shining.
I thought you were going to say The Shining.
Yeah, well, I do watch that around Christmas too. Is The Shining because it has snow in it. You can watch Train to Busan. That has snow,
It's
right?
not. No, I don't think so.
You can watch that James Bond movie where they're like skiing.
That's not. That doesn't make it a Christmas movie,
Her Majesty's Secret Service. That one.
That one is a Christmas movie. Yeah,
that's a Christmas movie. I love the Christmas James Bond movies.
The Thing is a Christmas movie.
Oh yeah,
great Christmas movie. Yeah.
If it has snow, it's a Christmas movie.
What else? What's it got, Chris? What else you got? Give us something good.
So having watched a few more that I had never seen, I thought I'm gonna have to go for the one that is top on this list. And now, bearing in mind that I used to just get mixed up between Carrie and Christine, I didn't know what was what. I didn't know. I knew one of them was about a car. That was about it. I thought, well, I'll watch Carrie. I mean, I've seen the cover. What the covers look like. Anyway, so I wasn't, even though it was top on the list, I wasn't really expecting that much from it. I just sort of thought, 1976, is it still going to hold up? And even though it's a very weird start, it certainly, I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting some of these bits from Stephen King, I guess. And yeah, it really still worked for me. I was absolutely gripped throughout as to, I suppose I like the way he shows the mixture of like her mother being religious, but it's because she's messed up because of what's happened to her. And she thinks she's trying to help her daughter. You know, she's so convinced that she's trying to save her that she's actually hurting her. But then how the dynamic changes throughout. So it's about halfway through and I was thinking, oh, this is great, but I'm definitely not going to watch this again. This is hard. But yeah, and then as it turns, it's like, wow, that's, it's really good, and psychic abilities are great. And yeah, and then like the way they did the scene with the pig's blood, and it was such a long build, and I was thinking, this is it's going to be terrible, but I don't know. And even with the way they did the sound, they're sort of repeating it over and over, and somehow it just worked so well. And
De Palma is a genius.
Yeah, this era of Brian De Palma
builds
awesome.
tension like a motherfucker.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what else. Is there anything else that I would know that he's done?
Raising Cain,
Phantom of Paradise, Scarface.
Scarface.
Of course, yeah, Phantom of Paradise. You've seen, Chris?
What was it?
Phantom of the Paradise.
Okay.
Yeah. Chris, you seem like a pretty like highbrow guy. I think you need to dive into De Palma. If you like Argento, was it Argento that you're a fan of?
Was that Suspiria?
No. Wait, no. You liked what's his name? The guy that does Requiem for a Dream.
Yes,
Aronofsky.
Yes. Yeah, no, I do.
And I'm not saying De Palma's Aronofsky, but it is more sophisticated filmmaking with disturbing themes. The thing about Carrie for me is like I have a love-hate with De Palma's like pre-credit jump scares. And I think the Carrie one is kind of unnecessary, but it's fine. It's fine. And De Palma does that a lot. You'll see it in a lot of his movies, but okay. I'll send you a list. De Palma's like my kind of new love of the last few years. So I'd only ever seen like Scarface and Phantom of the Paradise. Now I'm doing kind of a deep dive, and Carrie for that matter. But anyway, that's a solid choice.
I mean, I guess it surprised me. I was not expecting it to be as good as I still found it to be. So, but that did push off Shawshank. I was, that would have had to be my top.
Wow.
Because when I saw it, that just blew me away. As you were saying, Adam, and
amazing.
Even though it's not horror, but yeah,
Clancy Brown's on my screen right now as an asshole fucking guard. It's fantastic. It's on right now. It's great.
You're watching Carrie
Love
right
this
now?
Shit. No, I'm watching Shawshank Redemption right now. It's on Tubi. I put it on after Maximum Overdrive. All right.
Well,
We Three Kings.
I was going to say that's the natural Stephen King double bill there. Maximum Overdrive.
Shawshank Redemption.
Listen. It's better than Jason X and Sleepwalkers. I'll tell you that much.
That's true.
Right?
That's very true, actually. The more I think about it.
But with Carrie, Chris, I mean, Sissy SpaceX.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Piper Laurie as the mum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is just
John Travolta.
No, so yeah, that was a surprise. I mean, it's not his best role. I guess that was one of his very early ones. But
it's before he was a Scientologist. He hadn't found his footing yet.
Yeah.
It's just aged really
The
well, I
Devil's
think. You know, like of those, as you were saying, like his very first movie adaptations of kind of the 70s, where it had that first surgence. Yeah, I think Carrie's just aged phenomenally well. It's such a good film.
Timeless. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could show that to your children and they'd be like, this is a great movie. You're great.
I might wait a couple of years, but yeah.
I mean, I show him again. Maximum Overdrive's a better bet than Carrie, maybe. They're all gonna laugh at you.
Interesting. No one's mentioned anything from Creepshow yet.
I mean, I mentioned it before. I'd said it. I said that for me, like it was. I picked The Dark Half over Creepshow just because I figured everybody else would say Creepshow and not writing the fucking bullet. So I didn't put Creepshow on the list, but it's there. It's up there. You know,
Creepshow is phenomenal. It was one of those ones I bought ex-rental from like a Blockbuster. And literally just watched it so many times that in the end the cassette was fucking unwatchable. It was
right.
I literally killed it, and a Creepshow too as well. Like they're both just outstanding.
I say they're both equal. Speaking of Creepshow too, I mean, can we talk about The Raft real quick? That's off Skeleton Crew, book of short stories by Stephen King. I believe it's the Skeleton Crew. But I was in first grade when my father read that to me as a bedtime story. And if I'm lying, I'm dying. That happened. And I always talk about how like I wasn't really a horror fan till later in life because I was horrified of it like so early. I saw The Shining way too early. My father read me The Raft. It explains so much.
But anyway, it all went in there.
What's that?
It all went in there, and then it came back a little bit later.
Now it's coming out in man-child podcasting online in my 40s.
Amen to that.
Yeah, so Creepshow, obviously. Like, there's just... did we get through everyone's top 3 yet?
No, Lee. I'm waiting for Lee.
All right, let's do Lee.
What could it be?
Let's do a retrospective after we're done with Lee here.
Yeah.
I have them all written down.
So my last one is another, again, from the very bottom of the pile that's been poorly. No, well, wait. But I think is a little underappreciated masterpiece. So it's not well regarded, but my last one is Needful Things.
Needful Things.
I really like Needful Things. I've only seen it a few times, but it's a really good film. For anyone who doesn't know the story,
I don't know this one.
It's a great parable about materials.
He wasn't asking you, Bobby.
Yes.
Same.
Yeah, that is no, he's right. That's exactly what it is. So the idea is a store opens in a small town, and everyone it's kind of antiques and curios and stuff, and everyone who goes in there finds the perfect thing that they want, and Max von Sydow runs the shop.
Oh yeah, fucking Sydow, man.
And sells them the thing that they want at a price they can afford. But he will sell it to them at a lot less than it's worth, but you also have to do him a favour. And the favours are basically to fuck with other people in town. So he's kind of his main plan is to get everybody in town to fuck with everybody else until in the end everyone in the town is out murdering each other because nobody quite knows why they're doing.
I was going to say like this,
but they seem fairly innocent.
Do we know why he wants to do that? It's just his thing.
It's never totally given away, but there is an implication that he is
the devil.
Okay.
Yeah. And you see it in him as well. So he looks like Max von Sydow, but like he's
was
pretty
typecast
to begin with. But like when you see him outside of the shop, like his teeth keep getting worse and his nails keep getting worse, and you can see he's sort of degrading as time goes on. But yeah, he's basically just setting everybody up against one another with this very
Machiavellian plan.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's just, it's really good. It's brilliant. And Ed Harris is in it. Who I love Ed Harris, but I find him really difficult to take seriously because of his dancing in Creepshow. Like once you've seen that, that is all you can ever see. Is that like?
Hey, he made a very strong career after that fucking dance scene. You know, I mean,
Apollo
you
13,
could say
motherfucker.
that dance scene made his career. You know, everybody hired Ed Harris. They know he's got fucking moves. He may not have hair, but he got moves.
I liked him in that Romero movie about jousting on motorcycles.
Oh yeah,
Night Riders.
Night Riders.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I have a question. Hold on, real quick. So I wanted to watch Evil Things, and I haven't seen it forever, and I do always remember liking it, right? But now, Lee, because you put it in your list, I'm really worried about watching.
Yeah,
it's the one that I totally, as I say, they were the ones from the bottom, but I remember really enjoying it. So I was like, maybe I'm going to rewatch it and find that I was mistaken. But no, I thought it was really good. It was really solid. Oh, look at that cat. Sorry, King is holding up an adorable cat.
Yeah, that's the Moogle. Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm thinking of Sleepwalkers again.
Man, please don't have sex with that cat later, Adam.
Comes back around.
He's so much better than a lot of the films at the bottom of and that's the thing. I think people will potentially look at the films at the top of the list and not make it to the bottom. And if you miss out on Needful Things, I think you are missing out on a really enjoyable, a very clever. It is a parable, and
it's a morality tale.
Yeah, but
it seems really reminiscent of Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Yes, that's exactly what it reminds me of. I was almost convinced as well. Obviously, I know that Something Wicked This Way Comes isn't Stephen King. It's
Ray Bradbury, isn't it?
Ray Bradbury, that's it. Because he even voices it. But yeah, it's got such a close tie. I wrote that down in my initial list. Oh, Something Wicked This Way. And then I was like, oh, no, it isn't. That's Ray Bradbury. I can't get that one. Which I was gutted about because I love that film. But yeah.
It's a good one. I need that is on my list if I'm actually going to watch it, because I haven't seen it in so long and I really have been wanting to. I'm like, is that one good? Is it, because it's not, like you said, it's not as loved as some of the others that were on me and Adam's list. But it's I remember it being good, you know.
I remember it being a great film, yeah. And it certainly doesn't seem to deserve its place as third with the other two that you watched, like.
It's the top of the third, to be fair.
You may have redeemed yourself with this, just about.
Only just.
Yeah.
One quick honorable mention that could have made my list is Gary Busey and Corey Haim in Silver Bullet.
I tried to track that down. I've got it on DVD, and I cannot find it for the life of me because I was desperate to watch it for this, and I couldn't find it anywhere.
It has a very like 80s kids horror thing going on. Almost
sounds like werewolves, I guess.
Yes.
Yes.
It's almost like Stephen King's kind of like, I don't know, like Monster Squad or Fright Night.
I was about to say Monster Squad. Yeah.
Okay.
Where it's kids trying to kind of figure out what's going on, which was a kind of a thing that went on quite a bit in the 80s. But Silver Bullet.
There's a kid with a wheelchair. He's got a super powered wheelchair that his Uncle Gary Busey made for him. It's fucking awesome.
Right. There's that. But there's so many great, insane Gary Busey lines in that movie. Just like I want, what's his name? Uncle Rico? No, I don't remember his name.
Everett McGill is in it. Everett McGill from
Wild Turkey, like it's going out of fashion.
Yeah. But that's one of my honorable mentions. I don't know if anyone else wants to throw anything else out there.
Let me just go over something real quick, okay? So I'm looking at the list that we wrote up, and now let me mention some of the ones that did not make anybody's top of lists. The Shining. Ones. The Shining, right? Stand By Me, okay? Christine, Creepshow, Firestarter, It, Children of the Corn, Pet Cemetery, The Green Mile, fucking Dr. Sleep, fucking Silver Bullet. All those are better than a bunch of the movies we fucking said.
Also, if you like Creepshow and you haven't seen Cat's Eye.
Oh, fucking Cat's Eye.
Fucking top notch.
Cat's
Eye.
The James Wood one, and then of course the Drew Barrymore with the little goblin under her bed is.
The goblin still haunts me.
Or whatever it is. It's a gremlin or a leprechaun or something.
Just to excuse myself, I haven't seen most of those, so
maybe
when I've watched them, when I've watched them,
save yourself The Shining.
Oh Jesus Christ!
It's the hill he wants to die on. So let him.
You and Stephen King apparently. So
you're saying Riding the Bullet is better than The Shining, Lee? Is that what you're saying?
No. Riding the Bullet is a turd. The Shining is The Shining again has got that thing of it. I think it would have made a great part in an anthology. And I know
The Simpsons did it.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
Simpsons did it.
I know everyone's going to say, and I like a good slow burn, and that's absolutely what it is. But it's just too slow for me, and it's just too drawn out, and it just bores the absolute tits off.
I think the interesting thing I got showing it to Claire was it's now become like a spotting film where you're like, oh, that's that thing I've seen in this. They did that. Obviously, they did the Shining in The Simpsons, but there's like, oh yeah, they did the twins in Spaced, and they did that bit in this, and much like the sort of the Exorcist or whatever like that. But The Shining has a lot of those moments. Like there's an episode of South Park that's basically The Shining where he's running a blockbuster. Randy runs a blockbuster.
Yeah.
And that's basically The Shining, and that's all the things. So Claire was like much more. Oh, I know this as it's ricocheted through pop culture, sort of
popular culture everywhere. Yeah,
and it has got some fantastic scenes, but they are all 20 to 25 minutes between each other, and I just end up snoozing all the way through it, and it just drives me nuts.
Kicking it back to miniseries, I'm glad no one mentioned the Shining miniseries with the guy from Wings.
Another Mick Garris.
Was that a Mick Garris?
That's Mick Garris. Yeah.
And then,
good God,
that was I remember watching that. And my dad would be like, "This is exactly like the book." I'm like, "The book sounds like it's fucking terrible," but it's not. I have read the book. That's the other one I've read. That's a scary fucking book. And then the other miniseries I wanted to just bring up briefly, which I remember watching pretty fondly, pretty regularly as a child. Nope, not the Langoliers, but.
Storm of the Century.
No.
Tommy Knockers.
Tommy Knockers. And when I had COVID, I was like, this is a perfect opportunity to revisit Tommy Knockers. And I made it 35 minutes out of 6 hours or however long.
It's not very good.
It's just like, it was aliens the whole time that make ghosts in the town. I don't even remember. It's very not good. It's very not good. Tommy.
It was like that movie Phantoms with Ben Affleck. And I can't even say which one's better because they're both terrible.
I'm keen to know, actually. So obviously, I think if we'd all followed the criteria that we'd been given from the off, and we'd done our actual favourites, I think it would be the top of the list for the majority of us, with Shining. But what did you all think of the remake?
What, Dr. Sleep?
No, sorry. So the It remake.
Okay. I'm glad that you mentioned this because I've been having this conversation with a few people recently. So with both the original and the remake. Now the original directed by Tommy Lee Wallace, who directed fucking Halloween 3. And I put this together, like both those movies scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. Like Tommy Lee Wallace got me at a primal level. And I've shown my son both It and Halloween 3, and he says, "That's not scary, Dad." But whatever. The thing about It is with the original and the remake, the first half with the kids is great. Yeah. It's tense. It's fucking scary.
It's got
and then
bullies.
They turn into adults. It's got greaser bullies. Then they turn into adults and it gets boring as fuck. Like they just can't repair that. Like nobody's, and I'm sure that's how it is in the book. Like it doesn't get better.
I think that like the casting of the adults in both of those versions is just almost insufferable for the most part. It doesn't work as well.
Right. I mean, one of the main reasons I am a clown now is because of it, because it scared me so bad. I became a clown. It scared me into clownhood. Yeah.
I think it affected a lot of people that way, at that sort of, people of our age. But yeah, the fear of clowns.
To some extent, yeah.
The first one of the remake I enjoyed way more than I thought I would. The second one I was just like, let's fucking get this over with, please.
Oh, it's exactly
the same thing with the original. Yeah.
And it's kind of like the book, to be honest, if you think about it. It was like, all right, let's pick up the pace here. But there are some key moments, true kinder trauma moments in the original It miniseries. For example, I will never forget the Chinese restaurant scene with like the chicken fetus and the eyeball and the fortune cookie, all
and
that kind of
just to
stuff.
make a mention of that though, like that was done so much better in the original because they did it in the remake. They had it all CGI. And
didn't they like break into song and dance or something in the remake? It is something stupid. I was like, oh no, what it was?
It was Ed Harris. It was Ed Harris dancing.
No, they tried. They tried to make it into like a kind of like a weird, like almost like a Judd Apatow comedy sequence thing. Where like, what's going on right now? You know, it's like, no, dude, this is supposed to be ominous and
terrifying.
Don't put Bill Hader in there making quippy little lines. I don't care about that right now.
I think that the thing I always think with the original is just the fact that Pennywise looks like he could turn up at your kid's party, which is weirdly scarier than, well, I'm not going to let this prick through the door. Right. He's like about 8 foot tall with fucking razors for teeth. Fuck off. But you could get him in, and then it's that sort of insidiousness of
You need that juxtaposition.
Becomes more horrible.
Well, it's how he draws the children in, isn't it? I mean, that's the whole idea of it, is that he's a clown, so it draws the children because it makes them comfortable. Yeah, whereas in the remake, I mean, don't get me wrong, that guy did such an amazing job, like his physicality for what they'd obviously asked him to do. But as you say, like, children wouldn't find it kind of endearing and be drawn near him because he's fucking terrifying.
Trust me, I know. I go through this.
I almost bought I came so close to buying it was a Hawaiian shirt I found online, but it had like Freddy Krueger and Jason and Michael Myers on it, but it had the new Pennywise on it. And I'm like, nope, I don't want any part of that.
Give me fucking Tim Curry or
if you had Tim Curry, we might have something to talk about here. Yeah.
So if you've listened, I know you've heard me rant and rave about it, Bobby. And San Marcos, the street that has all the Halloween stuff on it. At Halloween, there's like 200 kids. So somebody this year crawled into one of the sewers, was dressed like a clown, and had a red balloon just like sticking up from the sewer. It was calling kids over and throwing candy to them.
That
shit's amazing.
That wasn't you? You didn't think of that first?
It wasn't me. It was not me.
No. Ours are designed so that small children don't pass through them easily.
Yes.
Fair enough.
We try to create lawsuits here because it's profitable.
Waiting to happen. Yeah. So make America great.
I think what we've done. I think what we might have done here as well is we've done the mistake of a jam band in that it's like we're all playing a solo, and so someone forgot to do the rrhythm tracks. So that's why we haven't had Creep Show, and we haven't had The Shining.
Yes.
Right.
One I totally forgotten about though. Has anyone seen Apt Pupil?
Yes.
Apt Pupil is very good. I watched that recently.
Yeah,
a good one.
I love a good Nazi Next Door movie.
Yeah,
I love a Nazi Next Door movie.
Back to Monster Squad again.
That I think it would be much more popular. The Nazi Next Door.
Yeah,
the Burbs. You got so many.
There's
so many.
Yeah, there's so many. But the It remake, I feel pretty much more or less. One thing I want to bring up about that real quick is, do you remember the backlash when you first saw those shots of Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise? Like, from people of our generation, we're just like, what the fuck is this? Because like you said earlier, like, you want a clown that would be at a birthday party. You don't want an evil looking. I want ugly Tim Curry, not beautiful Bill Skarsgård playing my.
Because I think a lot of the time when people were moaning about it, a lot of people were replying saying, "Oh, don't be daft. That's obviously when he becomes evil in the thing." And it's like, no, he actually starts off.
No, it's undeniably like that's what people know as Pennywise now for most people now, because of the remake. But oh, you're absolutely right. I'd never thought of it like that before. But making him evil or look evil in the majority of the movie, he does look like one of those weird like those early traveling creepy Italian circus clowns. It's not like a modern.
Right.
No,
it's not. I want Krusty the Clown, evil Krusty the Clown. I don't want.
Basically, yeah.
Well, that was what worked with the Tim Curry one. Like, he was just like a genuine kids entertaining clown.
Yeah, yes.
And he had the appearance, and he was telling the crap jokes and the stupid like
all of it.
But it was the fact that he was in the wrong place, and it was the things that were happening around him that were sinister.
Yeah, you could see an evil-looking clown living in a sewer in the gutter. You don't want to see a pleasant-looking fun clown. That's even scary.
Well, if you saw like the evil-looking clown, like in the new one in the sewer, you're like, fuck no. But if you see the regular happy-looking clown,
hey buddy,
like,
you need some help? Why are you down there?
Yeah, how
did
did
I call
you
the fire
get down
department
there, pal? Yeah, what do you need? Oh, now your teeth are big and I'm gonna die.
You'll flop too.
I do just want to go back just very quickly while we're talking about it. I know we mentioned it briefly earlier, but Stand By Me is just, I know it isn't horror, and obviously I was going more towards the horror adaptations. But that film is...
Oh, that was the rule. That was the rule. The three best, the horror adaptations ahead of me. That you missed that part, huh? Okay.
The lard-ass scene is pretty horrifying with the
fucking pie.
Oh, the pieing concept. Oh, God. Yeah. But it's just such a, again, like we were saying, like a timeless movie where nothing about it ages it. And it's such a fantastic cast of people who went on to really prove their chops later on.
Like Corey Feldman. And River Phoenix, R.I.P.
Yeah. God bless
you're right. That's where I get my Kiefer Sutherland bully trope is from Stand By Me. He's great in that. It has a lot of really good what's the guy from Will Wheaton's in it? Corey Feldman, young Jerry O'Connell, and then of course it has a all-star cast of young 80s starlets or stars. Starlet made it sound weird, you know what I mean?
It did make it sound weird, Bobby.
Young 80s starfruit.
If you're gonna watch, well, I don't know. There's a lot, but for the Dark Half, man, watch the fucking Dark Half. I swear to God, y'all will not be disappointed with that. But I mean, if you haven't seen like Firestarter or Christine or fucking any of that, you need to watch all that.
Yeah,
you need to watch.
I can take it.
We need to watch. Yeah, Firestarter's it's okay.
Christine again is another one of those that I saw probably in the 90s and hadn't seen again, and then I bought it 2 years ago maybe on Blu-ray and rewatched it. Yeah, and it just holds up.
It's one of them, like it's one of the both. I wouldn't call it an overlooked Stephen King. It's a Bachman, I believe. Christine's one of his first books.
I think it is.
I think it's one of the great overlooked John Carpenter movies. Like you do the list, the John Carpenter list, and like for whatever reason, Christine doesn't generally come up very often. And I'm like, no, that's a fucking great movie. Like it's very good. It's another one of those kind of Stephen King morality tales as well, where the evil of the desire kind of takes over or whatever. But all right,
you definitely need to see it. It's another one of that. A bit like I wanted to mention The Mangler as well. I've not seen The Mangler, but it was one of those when somebody first told me about it, I was like, you're pulling my leg. This is not a horror film about a clothes drying piece of equipment which murders people. Like that can't really be a film. But it is, and it's the same with Christine. Like the idea that there's a possessed car, it's ludicrous, but it's still sinister. They managed to pull it off.
But the Mangler is one of those moments where my pretension got the better of me. In that I never saw The Mangler when it first came out because, like you say, that sounds fucking stupid. And it's like, oh, Robert Englund's in it. Yeah, but he's not playing Freddy Krueger, and he's going to. He's over the top. He's always over the top. But this is, and yeah, so I never watched it. Then it came out on Blu-ray a little while back. And someone reviewed it saying it was like Kafka had made a horror movie in so much as it was about the sort of, how bureaucracy feeds the workers to the machine. And I'll admit it. I feel I'm in safe company. I was getting some strong commie vibes and I was like, I'm going to watch this. And no, it's a load of old shit about a mangler that comes to life and kills
exactly
people.
What you remember.
And Robert Englund's over the top. So those initial reviews I saw back in the 90s were right. And then someone lied to me and appealed to my intellectual better nature and failed to deliver quite spectacularly on the mangler.
Dog shit.
Anything else to touch on Stephen King? We're recording in this not during Christmas time. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag right now.
Hey, I'm watching Misery right now, and it's snowing, so it's a Christmas movie.
There you go. You guys
I've
can
never
have that
seen
rule.
Misery. It's on my shelf and has been for the last 15 years.
I'll watch Misery, man.
But you picked up Riding the Bullet again, Lee. What the fuck, man?
Adam.
It's all right. It's all right.
Let Lee have his subjective opinions.
I am
You
sorry.
know how
I thought we were going to end up in a Simpsons type situation again where we'd all just pick the same half a dozen things. So I was trying, but then we all tried to think outside the box and we all missed the target. But
I'm going to be honest, I thought I was going to get a lot of shit for thinking outside the box.
The Adams did great. The Adams did fine. The Adams did just fine. Thank you.
That we did, sir.
Well, who
watch The Dark Half, all y'all.
But please first watch Misery.
Yeah, watch Misery first. It's got Lauren Bacall, and she's still a fox in this.
You said it's a Christmas film, so I'm going to give it another 2 weeks, and I'm going to put it on in December.
Oh, one real quick semi-modern Stephen King I just want to mention, and I love this movie.
Dr. Sleep.
No.
Dr. Sleep.
It's a great
movie.
haunting movie. 1408 with John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes.
I love that movie. I just want to throw that out there. I think it's one of his stronger film adaptations. But anyway,
I haven't seen that.
I need to give it another watch. I've only seen it once, so I need to. But I remember being quite taken with it at the time. So,
All right. Any final thoughts? Any Jerry Springer final thoughts? Be good to each other. Yeah, you do.
This has been the Welcome to Everyone podcast. This is like our Treehouse of Horror episode that we do every year, but we do it together, you know.
Whereas last year we literally did Treehouse of Horrors, so.
Well, exactly, that's where I got the idea. Yeah. So we're just doing that once a year or twice a year, wherever the fuck we want. We feel like it, goddammit.
Great.
Yeah, set. Stephen King. Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
All right, y'all. Well, that was fun. Misery's great. Kathy Bates is she's not as much of a fox as Lauren Bacall, but she's all right. All right, I'm gonna go be a dad. You have a good night, guys.
All right, bye.
Take care, man. Everyone. Lovely to see you. Cheers, buddy.
That was fun. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Here comes the Christmas music after that conversation. All right. See you guys later.
Take care, man. Thanks.
See you later, man.
Let's do it more often. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, definitely.